Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Hog Talk Podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are coming to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes, and alongside me, as always, is Adam Hall. And on tonight's episode, we will be breaking down the expectations of the Arkansas football season. So, before we get started, do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow our channels. It goes a long ways to supporting us. I guess we'll get started with it. Just the whole premise behind the episode is we've had talking season. We're a few short months away from kickoff. What is the expectations? A month. I can't believe how fast this is. Yeah. This year is just blown by. I can't believe we're this far out in July. But Adam, it's mainly we've talked about our thoughts and concerns going into this, and we'll play a few clips here of other people's. And it really caught me by surprise of what you hear. And Adam, you called it. You said we're going to get the sunshine pumping. We're going to get the video game. Look how good Taylor Green is on this video game. We are hearing 8-9 wins. If you're not saying 8-9 wins, you're dumb. Mantra of the stupid people. Everybody's riding the train, and we're not on that train yet. So I guess I'll start with you. You know, and this doesn't have to be record. What is your expectations of this football team this year?
Oh, I think looking back in comparison, so we're in season 2 of Petrino. Season 6 of Pittman. I think you have to build off of last season. So, you know, like we've discussed before, and we'll get into like actual record predictions later before the season. So you went 6-6. So you've got to do better than that. I think that you've got to look at it. I think you need 7 or 8 wins for it to be a success. I think if you go 6-6 or below 6-6, you haven't improved. And if you drop below that, you've taken a step back or multiple steps back. So I kind of look at it. They've got to be able to close out games. The games that the teams that they should handily beat. You know, like last year where they struggled with UAB. The loss to a Oklahoma State team that ended up being 3-9 or whatever they were. You can't lose game like that, especially going into, you know, what we're looking. I mean, I look at this season as, and I know we said this last season, but they got to a bowl game. They won the bowl game. You take too big of a step back. I think Saban's done. And yeah. I don't mean that like I'm calling for his job, because I'm not. But at the same time, I don't think you can take a step back here. Do I think that it's going to happen, that Arkansas improves? No, I do not. Yeah. And that's no shot at them. That's going to be the record or the schedule that they have year in and year out. You know, we hear this every single year, how tough the schedule is. We should be used to that. Every single year, it's a top 5, top 10 schedule. So the fact that we and the media still bring this up time and time again, it's like it's a broken record. It's not an excuse. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yep.
You know, the turnover, not turnovers, but the turnover of players from last season. We've got to see what kind of talent and what kind of recruiting capabilities and what kind of coaching capabilities these guys really have. Because you have, I think it was 51 or 54 new players on this roster between transfer portal and freshmen. You've got a lot on your plate, and you could easily be looking at a 7-5, 6-6 season, or a 3-9, 4-8 season. It's going to swing one way or the other, and it's if it swings towards that 4-8, 3-9, it's not going to be pretty.
That mine is prove us wrong. You know, there's a lot of people out there. I won't say a lot. Let's just, you know, call it the few, the few, the proud of the company. We'll call it a company now that, you know, Arkansas is paying their players, and you have the media propaganda people and the ones that are and let's face it, They're sunshine pumpers. The few. The fans are not. You're a fan. You're excluded from ever being called a sunshine pumper because you're a fan. That's just how I've always felt about that. You're a fan for a reason. You're a fan because you love the Razorbacks. So if you're optimistic, I'm talking about the media that is, and you kind of pointed to it. There was two in particular that I seen. Per this schedule, for this schedule, do you think this could happen? That to me, you're already signaling defeat because you're saying if you go 6 wins, well, the schedule was tough, man. For this schedule, they did really good. You can't do that. You're automatically right there, starting it off with an excuse or a scapegoat to say they didn't exceed their expectations or exceed people's expectations. We're hearing that this is year 2 in Taylor Green. There's people out there saying he's a dark horse for the Heisman Trophy. There's things that are being said that are like, come on, let's slow it down. Let them prove to us that they're a winning program. Let them prove to us that they could be a 7-8 win team. And then we can be like, okay, they got this thing rolling. Because I'll say this, I'm not scared to say that I think they win 4 or 5 games this year. I'm not scared to say that they need to prove to us that they're going to be turning this thing around, because you know what? I know what they're going to do. They probably, if they do win 7-8 games, they're going to laugh at people like us and say, I told you. Guess what? That is your job. You're clapping and you're clapping back, and you expect us to eat crow for you doing your job. It is not hard for us to expect you to win 7 games. We're not saying you'll never make the college football playoffs and then you go on a run. You make the college football playoffs and then you get to laugh in our face.
Mm-hmm.
We want 7 wins on every year, 7, 8, and a magical 9 or 10 win run. That's all we're asking. But prove us wrong, because it's already happening. SEC Media Days, and every year it happens. We talk about how strong we are, how fast we are, how good we look in the video game. This team's going to be a problem. The O-line's better this year. We've heard it all, but every year we hear that, and then we see what happens. I want to see depth. I want to see them finish the season instead of a 4-win losing streak, or keeping losing to Missouri, Texas A&M. Beat those 2 teams, and then we can build on that from there.
100%. And I mean, if people want to get their hopes up, high expectations, whatever, you're entitled to do that. You're a fan. I even go as far as, we're in a day and age that you're seeing more and more, even national media, like, who these guys are fans of.
Mm-hmm.
Some take it to the extreme, some don't. But you have a lot of them too that are just overly, I'm not going to say pessimistic, but they're suspect of Arkansas and their capabilities. And I feel like that's where I'm really at with it, is just, and the proving me wrong thing is 100% right. And we did it last year. Let's take it game by game. Yeah, we have our predictions. Yeah, we have our expectations. But at the same time, it's, as the season goes on, we're going to look at you as a 1-0 team, as a 2-0 team, as a 2, as the season progresses. Okay, so this week you're 3-1. Are you going to take a step forward? Or are you going to take a step back?
Yeah,
that's one thing I think that's going to have to be, determined by the players, the coaches, whatever, is how are we going to improve game to game? Are we going to get too far ahead of ourselves? Are we going to let the likes of you and me, as in shows like this, catch our attention to where that's what we're worried about versus practice? Whatever, there's a multitude of things. It's one of those that I hope that they just shut out the outside noise. Because at this point, that's what we are. We're noise. We're fans. Yeah. We are noise. And just roll with it. I get tired of a lot of the ho-hum. There was a quote yesterday that DP pointed out on HQ Live last night, and it wasn't in a press conference. He was there in Atlanta, and it was with Xavier Sorey. and he asked for a season prediction as he was going through signing autographs and stuff. Couldn't give him a win-loss total, but one of his expectations was he was going to play as violent as the rules would allow him to play, and that's what I want.
Yep.
Be with inside the rules, but that right there is just like quote of the year that's not going to be said in a press conference. And DP had it on camera. I was like, that's what I want to hear from these players.
Yes.
I'm going to play as violent as I can,
Absolutely.
as much as the rules will allow me to.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear the things of, well, if this would have happened, things would be different. That's where the coaching comes into play. How can you take these one possession games, turn those games into wins? I cannot remember offhand what his record is in one possession games, but it's not good.
Was that the one that was, I think it was like 7-17 or something like that?
17. Okay. That's another thing where you could really like prove to me, all right, another direction. And again, this is where you're talking about win-loss record. Win some of these games that are one possession games. Turn this thing around. Show us that you're building. Again, that's why I throw it at 7 wins. Show us that these wins that you have, and I'll throw LSU in there. I'll throw Missouri in there, Texas A&M. I'll throw Auburn. These games that you've been competitive in, and you could even add Ole Miss in there. Year in and year out, you're being competitive in these games. They're one possession games. Win those games. Then you look at your non-con games, you can win those. Now, outside of Notre Dame, we'll just throw that one out. But maybe what do you do? What if you do surprise them? Cool. You're heading in the right direction. That will show in year 2. This is another thing that people are expecting, what Bobby Petrino did at Louisville, what he did at Arkansas last time, that, all right, it's going to automatically transcend into, okay, that's what Taylor Green's going to be this year. We have wide receivers. We have tight ends. We're going to block better. I want to see it. And everybody is expecting, not everybody, excuse me. I've said everybody a lot, but I'm talking about the ones that are saying all these 8-9 wins, sky's the limit, Taylor's a dark horse but even the people that are saying that, they can't even stand on it. They're sitting on the fence. Well, if he does, this is how he could get there. Like, you're putting it out there like you know what you're doing, but you don't even believe what you're saying. Well, you got to still stand by that. You're the one saying it. Stand on it. If you want to go say, hey, I'm calling it right now, 9 wins. All right, stand on it. Don't sit on the fence when it don't happen. And you're like, well, with their schedule, and then you start throwing excuses in. Stand on what you say it with your chest and mean it. So again, expectations, improve and win some of these one possession games.
Who do you want to hear from first? AJ McCarron or SEC Unfiltered? I've got both.
Let's go with AJ McCarron, because I'll let you set it up, because you watched it and you sent it to me, but set it up.
Yeah. So this was, I don't know when it was actually shot, but it was posted today. McCready and Siskey, their podcast. Honestly, it's a good podcast. They talk about all over the SEC. There is a lot of Alabama talk, obviously. But AJ McCarron was on. I honestly don't know how often he is on. He seemed like a friend of the show, frequent flyer, if you will. But he had some choice things to say about Taylor, and I know a lot of Arkansas fans, haven't taken too kindly to it. Let me swipe this off, and I will pop this up.
I will be interested in Taylor Green and Bobby Petrino for 2nd year. I think he's probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I think he's sneaky good. Mississippi State.
Doing what? Running?
So bad on his decision making.
Listen, we cannot say this dude is a good passer. A thrower of the football. It's unless he started throwing with his left arm this year and got really good, the right arm didn't get fixed that much. There's no way.
He made some decisions last year where you're like, whoo, what?
It was brutal. Listen, kid's a hell of an athlete.
He can run. He's
him.
like a gazelle out there.
Yeah.
Watch out for Taylor Green in Arkansas.
And he takes hits Man, he takes some hits where you're like, dude, what are you thinking?
Year 2, Bobby Petrino, Taylor Green. Watch out. Bobby Petrino.
Yeah. I mean,
Now, I
here's
will
what I'll
say
say about.
Go
I'll
ahead.
say
Yeah,
this
go
real quick about AJ McCarron and national champion. I will give him that. You're a game manager. You, sir, do not have an arm.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that, yes, you're a winner. Yes, you played for the greatest coach in college football history. You are a game manager. So let's not critique somebody with an arm when you don't have an arm yourself.
Exactly. And this is what I'll say. As much as we talk about the ones that are predicting the 8-9 wins and the Heisman Trophy dark horse, you got to call a spade a spade. I take everything he said about Taylor Green as trash. You look at all these national people that know if they mention Arkansas, it's going to get reaction. I think that's 100% what it was. Because you can't sit there and honestly say, now he might not be the most accurate quarterback in the SEC, but he is a proven winner. He is a proven good quarterback. Just as much as I'm saying, I don't see him being anywhere close to being a Heisman Trophy quarterback. If he's a Heisman Trophy quarterback, that says a lot about, and this is no disrespect to Taylor Green, but we're talking about Taylor Green and we're talking about the best quarterbacks in the country. But you can't sit there and on the other hand go the opposite way with that and say, well, what did he do? Start throwing with his left hand. I mean, he's shown signs of promise. He's shown signs of being able to throw the deep ball. Were they the most accurate? No. Did Satania have to jump up behind the defender and catch that one? Yes. But he threw it, 65 yards on the run or off his back shoulder? I mean, even the best quarterback has trouble throwing accurate with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he might have decision problems, but to take it a step further and to stick that knife in and twist it a little bit more for the Arkansas fans, I think was uncalled for just because you're just talking out of your rear end. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to say, I don't see him as a good quarterback. Look at his accuracy, break down his film, and then leave it at that. But when you start really trashing him like, oh, what do you do? Start throwing with his left hand, that's a little too much. And that's where you can tell they know they're doing it out of reaction. They're doing it to try to get clicks, and it worked because we're talking about it. Arkansas fans are in the mentions, so take it for what it's worth. And McCready, I guess he's high on him. So I mean, he has shown promise, but again, we'll see how the season plays out because it does start off pretty rough. There's people saying they start off 4-0 heading into the Notre Dame game, but then there's also people saying they'll be 2-2,
and some are saying 9-0.
Yes.
Here's what, it's basically, we know how us as Arkansas fans are when it comes to both sides of the spectrum, whether it's a post, a video, an article, whatever that is way overkill, or whether it's somebody's kind of being hated on, bashed, and we get in our feels and we come defend. You're going to get reactions from Arkansas fans. So we have that on both sides, especially within the media and social media of Arkansas. I feel like, with the Heisman talk, somebody took a tweet from somebody else, and then basically we've taken it and ran with it. We're going to put out videos on why he's a dark horse Heisman. Hey, guess what? A lot of y'all said the same thing about KJ Jefferson. Potential Heisman candidate. Look what happened. And it's just putting stuff out there like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just one of those that I can't jump on board with it. And maybe just hearing the even kill, like, we'll see what, happens come season time. Here's what I think, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to overshoot it. But I'm sure as hell not going to sit here and say that Taylor Green is, trash. Because I don't think he is. I think he has it in him. I hope that, the Bobby Petrino year 2, like we have seen before with previous quarterbacks, I hope it works out great. I hope their extensive Lamar Jackson film study that they've been doing benefits him. Do I think that he is Lamar Jackson? In no way, shape, or form. And that's me being a Ravens fan. I do not see it. They are two different quarterbacks. You're talking about an NFL MVP. And those are aspirations for Talon. That's what you want to be. You're going to have to get there. You're not going to be there right now. But I'm not going to overshoot you. I'm not going to bash him. He's got a lot of work, but at the same time, he has the ability. I think a lot of it too. Yes, some of it's in his head. You got to hope that offensive line holds up to give him time and give him space. You've got to hope that you've got a running back that can do what Jaquindon Jackson did last year and then some. I hope Braylon Russell gets 250 carries on the season. And the reason I say that, and whether it's him, whether it's Mike Washington, I don't care who is the day one starter. One of them needs 250 carries, not split between them. I want one of them to get 250 carries. I hope they're wide receivers. It's basically all new wide receivers. I hope they show up. And I hope the 5'10", 5'11", 5'9" wide receivers, I hope that doesn't come back and bite us, because that is one of the biggest things I've been skeptical on. Yes, we do have Antonio Jordan from Warren, who I think is going to blow people out of the water. 6'4" Warren kid. I think he is about to be the next big wide receiver to come out of Warren to play for Arkansas. I have high hopes for him. I would say he is if we were going to call out who we thought would, I don't know if you'd say would overachieve or be your rookie of the year or whatever. I think he's going to be the freshman of the offense, freshman of the year. And that's where I see it. But no, I'm not going to come out here like AJ McCarron. Maybe AJ is still petty about Brett Musburger being the reason that he's still talked about to this day for talking about his girlfriend at the time or whatever. You didn't make it in the NFL. You had short stints or your stints were what, the XFL, UFL, if you made it. I mean, it's one of those that you're a game manager. I get it. You talk, people listen, but whatever.
When you're talking about Talon Green, you have to put him in the same category as like the coaching. We want Coach Pittman, Bobby Petrino. We want this team to be able to win those one possession games. Where does that start with? Your quarterback. Okay. Let's go to the Texas game. 17-25, but he passed for 149 yards, no touchdowns, one possession game. Jaquindon Jackson only had one rushing touchdown, 56 yards. So therefore, you're carrying the team, but you're passing, but we couldn't find a way to get in the end zone. The Missouri game, again, one possession game. You were 21 of 35, 229, no touchdowns. So when you're looking at that, and you had a fumble in the Missouri game, and
I think he had 3 fumbles on the year, 2 loss.
Yeah. So he lost that. It says 1-1. So I don't know if it's one
fumble, 1 loss.
Okay. So again, you have to hold him that same standard, especially now, year 2. We've heard Bobby Petrino does this with year 2. Talon Green's, he's jacked. He's a better athlete now. We're going to see more of him. All right. You got to prove it just as much as the coach. You got to win these games. If you want to be considered a dark horse Heisman Trophy winner, you look at, I'll bring Lamar Jackson. The biggest flaw on his schedule, and I still dispute that he got robbed that year only because it went head to head and he lost that game. But if you really dissect it, if I take my fan hat off, if it wouldn't have been for the receiver running out of bounds, more than likely they win the game. And you know what game I'm talking about with the Louisville Clemson game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's being realistic. If the kid does not run out of bounds before the first down marker, maybe they win that game. But that was the only flaw in that season, and he still won the Heisman Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also another reason why I think they need to change the Heisman Trophy until after the season, because you see what Deshaun Watson did and then what he did to Alabama. He proved he was a better quarterback and winning head-to-head. But yes, if you want to be put on that level of even being in the conversation of I am a Heisman Trophy contender, show us, win these games. Don't make excuses. Don't look at that schedule. Because if the schedule was so tough, if we're using that schedule with the schedule, you played Texas to 20-10 game. And they were ranked 1 at the time. Were they ranked number 1 at the time when they played? Number 3 at the time. They were ranked number 3. All right. Number 24, Missouri, 28-21. Ole Miss was the game that you got blown, got out of hand. But you even go to the LSU game. Number 8 ranked team, 34-10. And let's pull up the box score. Taylor Green went 21 of 31, 240 and a touchdown. Sacked 3 times and didn't have a fumble. But you got to find ways to win these games if you want to be considered the best or one of the best, to even be mentioned that you're going to New York. If you have the ball in your hands driving down the field in the fourth quarter, game management of I am going to take our team down the field and we are going to win this game. Or if not, like I said about the Lamar Jackson situation, you put them in a position to win, but the guy ran out of bounds short of the first down marker. Therefore, there's a little bit of a pass on that situation.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I look at it too. If you're talking dark horse Heisman, you're talking whatever with all this, you got to win. You can put up all the stats in the world, but if you're on a 6, 7, 8-ish win team or less, you're not going to be in the Heisman conversation.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Unless you're DMAC.
If he's in the Heisman conversation as a quarterback, you better be in playoff contention. And to me, that's just how reality is now.
Yeah.
If you're not in playoff contention, you're not going to be. You shouldn't be in Heisman talk. No way, shape, or form in this day and age.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, hear a word from our sponsors, and then afterwards we're going to continue on with this conversation. But, just a lot of things now that we're getting closer to football season, deep diving into, all right, what's our expectations? What do we think is going to happen next week? We'll talk about like predictions and game by game, and then we'll start breaking down the games. And then, of course, season game, we'll talk about the upcoming games that they have. So, we'll be right back after a break.
Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need. Whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck, plus our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together.
Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University, we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive. And I want to welcome you back to the Hog Talk podcast. And before we went on air, we were talking about SEC Unfiltered coming out and had some things to say about Sam Pittman. And it really got me thinking, with the clip that we've seen about AJ McCarron and then what we've seen from SEC Filtered on, their thoughts of Sam Pittman. You hear these things at SEC Media Days, and we even not criticized, but we complimented Coach Pittman on how he handled the press conference, how he handled the questions. And yeah, he looked nervous. He looked like he knew he was on the hot seat or back was to a corner. I was really taken aback that people still think that, okay, he's this type of person from the outside, because all we've heard was the only people that's trashing Pittman is the fans and the people in the state. So seeing these comments come on the same day from outside people that cover the SEC as a whole, I was really surprised to see the type of comments we've seen concerning Taylor Green and Sam Pittman.
Arkansas feels to me a lot like a restaurant with a bad chef but good vibes. And that's what we got with Sam Pittman, where the food is no longer up to par, where it feels like that there's a bunch of health violation codes, that there's things that are just going wrong, but you like the chef, you like the ambiance. So you don't complain. You're like, cool, this is a really, really fun guy, and this is a really great restaurant for us to hang out at. So we're totally fine with that. But once the product becomes bad and you become an asshole and things start to really go south, you don't want to be there anymore. That's why Dana Holgerson, when he had a 4-8 season, was fired because of, you can say results aren't paving the way or that we don't have the money. But when you treat people like crap, you don't want to be around that anymore.
You
and you're not
can't
going to put up
suck
for it.
and be an asshole.
So Pittman at least gives you that good confidence. Like, listen, the food has gone down, but we're totally okay with it because the vibes are immaculate when we come in here. But at some point, you get one bad food poisoning. You realize that this is not actually sitting on my stomach. We got to make it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get that. And I think it goes back to what you've said is the cold beer, the good old boy, that vibe's gone. The ambience is gone. So now more people are probably saying it and being more vocal about it. But I think there's a lot of expectations of this as a make or break season for Sam Pittman. There's a lot of people who think, all right, if they go 4 or 5 wins this year, they're expecting there to be a coaching change. So maybe they're just trying to be more real about, okay, all right, you've played this nice guy thing. Let's see what you can do when you feel, or your team, your program, your back's against the wall. And now it's like, hey, prove us wrong.
Mm-hmm. I 100% think it's the welcome has worn off, if you will. It's one of those, you're going into year 6. So a lot of other places, you would have been gone already. Mm-hmm. I feel like that there's a lot, whether this is Eurocheck, whether this is whoever the powers that be, some of the fan base, they're still thinking back to pre-Pittman.
Yeah.
And the true basement that Arkansas was in. And it's one of those that I've said this multiple times. And I thank Pittman for what he has been able to do post the train wreck of Chad Morris. But at the same time, it's like, okay, you dug us out of that. We haven't really progressed a whole heck of a lot, year after year. I mean, you peaked at your 9-win season year 2. What are we hanging on to? Are we still giving him the benefit of the doubt because of what happened prior to him being here? I don't know. I can't answer that question. But at the same time, I just feel like, and I'm not saying like the gloves have to come off. I'm just saying that, like, take off the Razorback shades for a minute, put down the Kool-Aid, just look at it for what it is. Look at it as just your win-loss record, your winning percentage, your overall stats. And if you're okay with where the program is right now, stop having expectations of 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, because those two things don't go together.
Yeah.
If you're content with Sam Pittman, if you're content with where we have been since, I'll say since 2021, I won't say 2020, but since he's gotten here, whatever. If you're content with all of this, then stop coming out and saying that you think we're going to win 9 or 10 games, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Because you look at that 9-win season, you had an NFL, almost said NBA. You had an NFL player on your team. And you look at who is he going to throw to this year? Do we have anybody on the offense right now, we see right now, that can go to the next level and play? And if we can't answer that as a yes, that's a big thing of, and I'm looking at the skill position, looking at your skill position. Carmona could be, Sorry, Ball could go off. I'm talking about skill position. Who's going to score you points? Do we have anybody that is going to get you, they're going to get to the next level? Point 2, you're at a point now where you can't get us out of a hole, then put us right back in and then be like, well, thank him for what he did. You can't, well, he got us to this point. Well, he just put you right back in the hole. He dug your own grave. He got you out of the grave and then put you right back into it. And then thirdly was this comment: Sam is better than Chad. The standard comparison was set too low. If you are content with saying that who we have now is better than the second worst coach we've ever had, maybe third. And when I say third, I'm throwing in Jack Crow. Because then you had John L. Smith, Chad Morris, Jack Crow. If you want to throw those in there, top, that would be your 3. If you're saying that he's better than those, that's not saying much. And
well,
that is
go ahead. In politics, and I know we don't dabble in this stuff, but it's like when you say that you picked one way because you were picking the lesser of two evils, or this was the best candidate. I mean, you're basically screwing yourself in that sense.
Yep.
And I've said, I've been on this opposition, if you will, for they hired Pittman because he's a great recruiter. NIL's taking the great recruiter out of the picture. I agree with what NIL has done. I'm not saying that Sam is not a good recruiter, but what I am saying is this goes hand in hand with him being dubbed the offensive line guru for so many years that he has been. He has been put into situations and teams that has given him that ability to be a great recruiter and to have an offensive line that has produced. When he was at Arkansas with Brett Bielema, you brought in this, Brett's, or actually, if you want to go back as far, you brought in the Barry Alvarez style of running game that Wisconsin had for years. You brought that to a team that was already historically known for their running backs. Then you bring in Sam Pittman, who is a good recruiter, but it's he was put into a situation with that style of play. I'm going to bring in the biggest offensive line in college football and the NFL.
Yeah.
We're going to have good running backs. Then at the same time, he goes to Georgia. He goes to one of the top teams in the country. He goes to a team that he has the pick of the litter. Anybody that was put into that position was going to be one of the top recruiters in the country. Anybody that was put into that position was going to get some of the best offensive linemen in the entire country. I think it's hard to say that somebody is like such a great recruiter or the best recruiter when they were in a program that was top 3, just top 5 the entire time that they were there. They were already that before he got there. So it's just hard for me to like dub him all these things when a lot of it was situational in my eyes. Because then now flip side, he's at Arkansas, he's on his own, and we're not getting those same recruits that you were getting before.
Yeah. And that goes to another point of the excuses. You know, your excuses are gone because he even said at SEC Media Days, Remy Cofield has made his job a lot easier by being this GM. He is not doing the things that he had to. All right. So now you don't have to worry about that no more. You feel like you've got a better team. You have more control of the team. You got Bobby Petrino year 2. You have Taylor Green year 2. There should be no excuses on why you can't win 7 games. Because again, if we're going to bring up last year and look at what they did with this game and look what they done at that game. All right. I don't see any of those teams that are 1-possession games where the team just got so much better. I mean, you could even go to Texas. Did Texas get so much better this year from last year? Did Missouri? You know, did LSU, another team, you know, that you always play hard. The only game that really you got blown out was Ole Miss. Okay. So outside, let's just say outside Ole Miss, talking about games you're competitive in. I don't know where we would put Notre Dame because of where they are. I don't know if I mean, I'm not even throwing them in the conversation because I'm looking at teams that you were 1-possession games from last year. There should be no reason why you don't win 7 games. We don't see it, but you should get there. Mm-hmm. And I will not say anything if they do win 7-8 wins this year. Well, I knew you could do it, but you had to prove us. I will not just sit on that fence and jump to the other side if they do it. But there's no more excuses. There's no more saying, well, you have everything now. You're saying you have a lot less off your shoulders where you can put more attention on your team. You feel better about your team. Now let's go win.
100%. So
we're only asking one more win. We're only asking one more win. I'm not counting bowl game. I'm saying 7 wins in the regular season should not be a lot to ask.
We'll see. I mean, I think a lot of it, and we talked about this a lot last year, and I think this has to be something beating their head this year. When you make bonehead plays, you've got to rebound from them quickly. Because more often than not, whether it was a fumble, whether it was an interception or an inadvertent flag, whatever, they've got to get out their heads. You've got to have a short-term memory. If you can't do that, sit on the bench.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Oh. Well, Adam, you got anything else?
I don't.
All right. We're going to wrap up the show with a bit of some good news concerning Kevin Trainer. He did accept the position with the Arkansas Alumni Association as the new Associate Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer. So really want to congratulate him for taking on that role. Don't know what pay all this is, but I'm really happy for him that, he is getting to, the dude, you heard him. Talking about how much he loved the university and how painful it was for him to be let go, but you see that he still had pride in being a part of the university, and you need that around. So if you can keep him in any capacity where he feels validated in what his worth is to him, I think this is a home run for each party because he still gets to be a huge part of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and the fact that Arkansas Alumni Association reached out to him to fill the role. So congratulations to him and best of luck to him in that new position.
More power to him.
Yes, sir. Well, that will do it for this episode of the Hog Talk Podcast. Again, thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight, and we will catch you on Thursday.